Good afternoon. We should first explore it because it could lead to life-changing medical discoveries and that ends a seemingly incurable disease. There could be underwater colonies that may be similar to our society. And starting to explore and research the Mariana Trench could be very beneficial to the world, and at very least we will learn more about our world. Exploration allows further knowledge of certain topics. Knowledge is a large component of thriving and survival. Learning about these species could help us find cures to diseases. The Mariana Trench might help us further our knowledge of the world and help us understand things that prior to the discovery we didn't or couldn't grasp the idea of. The fact that we have more knowledge and have discovered more about space compared to the little knowledge we have about the sea should be a good enough reason to put our time and money into the exploration of the Mariana Trench.
Oh, I stand next? Alright, anyways. So, exploration of something as deep as the Mariana Trench is dangerous in person. There are many ways you could die because of a miscalculation of even a millimeter. According to the Deep Sea Challenge team, there are many ways to die because of even a miscalculation, such as implosion, which is when you've incalculated your submarine's design and next thing you know, you have been drowned. Penetrator failure, the jet water erodes the inside of the penetrator, allowing seawater to come inside the submarine. Freezing, your submarine could get stuck at the bottom of the ocean and you could run out of heat inside the submarine. Fire, electric failures along with the O2 pumping. Fires can start faster before you can even react to it. Viewport failure, your viewport can crack and leak water inside the sub. Adrift, only one ascent weight drops instead of both, causing you to get lost because the crew can't find your sub back at the surface. Hydrothermal vent induced meltdown. The water temperature rises too much and causes the viewport to melt open. C4 communications and cable entanglement. The submarine can get entangled against telecommunication cables from land-based services, preventing return of the sub to the surface. Hypothermia, suddenly your body loses heat quickly before it can produce it. And hyperthermia, you gain too much heat. Our group is going to urge the exploration of the Mariana Trench in person is off the radar and not worth it.
First of all, implosion is a problem that can never completely be avoided, right? Neither can any of the other ones. But in the case of miscalculations and material failure, we will check our numbers twice and even 3 times, well, many, many times, and we will also make sure that we have state-of-the-art techniques and materials to protect our divers from dying. And there is no way to predict penetrator failure or any other failure of systems, but we can check everything and make a list of the possible failures and contradictions and prohibit them from even becoming a problem. And these things, and any of these things can happen and completely ruin the mission. But what knowledge do we gain from staying put and looking at possibilities that could ruin a worthwhile mission? The exploration of the Mariana Trench could be beneficial, especially if the personnel attending the experiments and going down into the water are volunteers and willing to risk their lives for the benefit of knowledge. The way that we should be thinking is that we should finish learning about our own Earth that we live on before learning about anything other than learning about anything else. The things that we could learn about from the ocean could scare us away from future problems and even make us more efficient and wise about actions that could lead to a permanently unstable future. Think about the garbage patches that have started and have gotten worse. If we explore the oceans, we may be able to figure out a way to eliminate them and possibly find another way to store trash or new materials to make other things into most likely biodegradable. If we explore the ocean, then we could discover new species and learn about huge amounts of materials, as I said, that could be found in the ocean. Also, when a rocket takes off, it releases fumes, gases, smoke, and much more. So do cars and buses and every automobile ever. But submarines, they go underneath the water, and the whole point of a submarine is to keep it airtight so that the air stays inside. So, in other words, it's not polluting the ocean. And the more that we know about our world, and not the world's millions of miles away from it, the wiser we will be for future decisions.
Alright. I don't see how researching the Mariana Trench will convince us to stop polluting the ocean. So even if we could find a way to kill the current garbage patches by exploring the trench, we would just make new ones. Also, if we did find a new species within the Mariana Trench, I do not see why that would be important or even a good thing. If this new species is most likely doing fine, living in its own ecosystem by itself without any sort of human contact, seeing that it's there. And so if we do find it, it's most likely that we will try to take it up to the surface or like explore, like understand it more and not just be like, hey, that's an animal, and then just leave it alone, because that's not what humans do. Also, if we found any type of new or rare materials in the trench, then some sort of underwater mining company, I'm sure, will quickly come in and ruin the ecosystem and the possible new species that you were referring to. Elena also said, the more we know about our world, and not the world millions of miles away from it, the wiser we will be about our future decisions. This implies that we need to learn things about the Mariana Trench before we should do any form of space exploration. Instead, I say balderdash. Space exploration is much more important than going back into the Mariana Trench, and here's why. The official NASA website states, in quote, with astronauts living and working aboard the International Space Station, NASA is learning a great deal about what it takes to create and test critical systems, efficient communication technologies, and protection for human bodies for a deep space mission, all of which is critical to our journey to Mars. So evidently, if we continue on track with space exploration, don't worry about some trench at the bottom of the ocean, then eventually, if the world gets super overpolluted, like you said, that exploring the Mariana Trench might help, we can just go to Mars. Yee.
Exploring the Mariana Trench will give us knowledge of possible renewable energy. Knowledge is the key to living longer on Earth and possibly many other planets. Everything ties to knowledge, and the more species that we know about, the more cautious we can be when drilling and mining and creating new tech, because everything is linked, and when doing these things, we don't know what will be affected. This knowledge also will be confidential until ready to be exposed, and underwater national parks can and will be established under intense supervision in order to protect, study new species without causing harm. To skip ahead would be cheating and uncalled for. The idea of cheating is that you don't get anywhere in the long run. If you are still yet to learn about our ocean and the rest of space, we will have too many things to do and eventually forget completely about exploring the ocean, because space is the most popular of the two.
Exploring the Mariana Trench won't give us any guaranteed knowledge about renewable energy. The likelihood of us finding a renewable energy source in the Mariana Trench is very slim. As Ivy said, the Earth will soon be uninhabitable, so putting our time and energy into space travel would be more beneficial in our future survival. When traveling to the depths of the Mariana Trench, water pressure will be a large opponent to getting under. This would cause a large amount of financial damage. Getting to the bottom of the Mariana Trench would allow us to find new species, putting these animals through more problems than they would usually face and end up wanting to be researched, and would be a large form of stress which could end up killing or causing permanent damage. In Elena's claim, she says skipping ahead would be cheating, which wouldn't make any sense considering that we would want to get to a further point in a quicker amount of time.